Alright guys, we're gonna get into some more HTML. Alright, so, alright, I'm gonna continue where I left off, with the HTML in the Mozilla Developers Network. The link will be in description. I didn't know that this email links was such a short section. It was like the end of the last video. I could have just included it, but well, it'll make a good special special video. Emailing. Email links. It's possible to create links or buttons that, when clicked, open a new outgoing email message rather than linking to a resource page. This is done using the A element in the mail to URL scheme. I gotta make this bigger for you guys here. That's better. In its most basic and commonly used form, a mail to link simply indicates the email address of the intended recipient. For example, the A tag with the href mail to the email address, as you can see, send email to nowhere. This results in a link that looks like this. So, looks like that. So then it opens up this is what it does by default. But I haven't got that set up, so. In fact, the email address is even optional. If you leave it out, that is, your href is simply in mail to. A new outgoing email window will be opened by the user's email client that has no destination address specified yet. This is often useful as share links that users can click to send an email to an address of their choosing. Specifying details. In addition to the email address, you can provide other information. In fact, any standard mail header fields can be added to the mail to URL you provide. The most commonly used of these are subject, CC, and body, which is not a true header field, but allows you to specify a short content message for the new email. Each field in its value is specified as a query term. So, alright, so here's the address. Then here's the carbon copy. Here's the blind carbon copy. And then here is the subject. Subject mail to. Subject probably ends right of the email. So from here until here, that's the subject, and then this is the body right here. So, note, the values of each field must be URL encoded. That is with non-printing characters. Invisible characters like tabs, carriage returns, and page breaks, and spaces, percent escaped. Also note the use of the question mark to separate the main URL from the field values, and ampersand to separate each field in the mail to URL. This is standard URL query notion. Read the get method to understand what URL query notion is more commonly used for. Here's a few sample mail to URLs. Mail to with the address, or addresses. Alright, then if you want to test your skills, we're going to do this later. So, now that we've completed this module, I just want to go up here. So, alright. So at the beginning of this section of the series, we went over the introduction to HTML overview. We went over the getting started with HTML. We went over what is the head, metadata, and HTML. We went over the HTML text fundamentals. We've created hyperlinks, and then here's what's coming up next: advanced text formatting, document and website structure, then debugging HTML. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do this active assessment. So here, so we're going to do this assessment here. So we're going to do this project here at the end and use this validator as well. So we don't need to use any CSS, which is the cascading style sheets. We'll get to that later. So yeah, this is what's coming up next: advanced formatting, document website structure, debugging, HTML, and then the project. And then we're going to go over these, and then this concludes the introduction to HTML. And then we have multimedia and embedding. So here we're going to get into images, video, and audio content, responsive images, vector graphics, iframe technologies to embed a website inside a website. Then we're going to go over HTML tables, which is good for HTML tables these days is more good for either doing like an actual table where you display information on a web page, or for HTML emails would be tables is great for that. And then we'll get into forms. So tables, we're going to do that, and then we're going to go forms. Then once we're done with all this HTML structuring, then I'm going to go over the CSS. So we're going to go over the first steps, the building blocks, styling text, and then layout. And then we're going to get into the really exciting stuff, which is JavaScript. So then that way we are able to, here, let me pull this back up. So then we're able to really dive deep. And honestly, I'm a beginner myself, so I think this is very good stuff. I think this is very informational. In fact, I'm learning more reading this documentation than when I was going through a lot of the tutorials that I found on YouTube. So we're going to go through JavaScript. I'm also going to go through Python as well, which is not on the Mozilla network, but that's going to be for a whole nother video. Anyways, please comment, rate, subscribe. If you've made it this far in the video, you'll see pop-ups here in a second in the video for my playlist, which should be kind of like right around here, and then the channel subscribe logo right here. So I'm excited to get into advanced text formatting in our next video. Thank you, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the bell. With the bell button, ring that bell. Alright, peace.